Welcome to Real Estate Agent Superstars, where we hear the stories, successes, and strategies of some of the top real estate agents in the industry. I'm your host, RJ Baxter with ClearPath Home Loans. This week, we have an awesome guest. We have Rachael Friesen from the Jordan Terrell Group, now rebranded as Real Community. She's only been in the business 4 years, but she's knocking it out of the park. And she has had a lot of accolades over the years, over her short career. She was Rookie of the Year in 2020. She was voted the MVP of the Jordan Terrell Group in 2023. She's one of the managing partners of the Jordan Terrell Group. She is a certified real estate negotiator. She speaks Spanish and is an all-around incredible agent. So I'm excited to have her on the show. Now let's get into the episode. Welcome to the show, Rachael. So happy that you're on with us today.
Thanks so much, RJ. I appreciate being here.
Yeah, you're welcome. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. How did you get started in this crazy real estate business?
Great question. So I actually was a school social worker for 20 years. And right around COVID, just kind of was getting burnt out on one career. And my longtime friend, Jordan Terrell, was telling me all about real estate. And to kind of slim the story down, we were camping and he talked me into it. So I was like, all right, maybe I have some skills that can transfer from my days of social work and managing people's emotions and, having projects and helping people get through, a big experience in their life. I think I could probably do this. And so the summer of 2020, I was taking my break from the school year and started studying like mad to get my license and linked arms with Jordan at the Jordan Terrell Group in August of 2020.
Awesome. So, and you had success right out of the gate, from my understanding. Was this something that you immediately thought you'd be good at, or how did Jordan spot that in you?
Good question. I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I think he definitely saw that I had the capability to communicate and articulate and be able to guide people. I definitely can kind of be assertive and get in there and just say, hey, this is what I think you need, and help people with also having a great deal of empathy and understanding that they're going through an experience and I'm here to be a part of it and collaborate with them. I think I really got a leg up though when Jordan asked me to be his showing partner. So in the first 4 months, I was trying it on my own, and he said, hey, I've got so much production. I need some help. Will you be my right-hand woman? And I gladly said yes, even though I knew I was taking a little step backwards in that I wasn't creating my own independent agent production, but I was linking arms with him. And I jokingly say that I had him on speed dial. Like I could call him and ask him every question I needed. And I had this guy who was a top performer in the area answering all my questions. The joke is that he also had me on speed dial. And so he would call me at any hour and be like, I need you to go show a house. I need you to write this contract. I need you to do this. And sure enough, like we kind of yin and yanged really well there for about 1.5 years.
So what were the positives of starting out that way? I mean, obviously it really got you rolling with a lot of activity, but what other benefits came from that?
I mean, like I said, just having him on speed dial, I was always a fly on the wall to his conversations. I learned quickly from watching, shadowing, just being right there alongside how he said things to clients, how he solved problems, how he wrote a compelling contract, how he networked with vendors and title companies and lenders. I think that was huge. And then all the while I was getting a lot of repetition, right? A lot of at-bats. And so I just had so much street cred, so to speak, there in my first year that people on the outside saw me as very busy, even though I was really kind of linking arms with him and kind of on his coattails of his production and his clients. But then they became my clients and then our clients. And then I was able to just kind of like fly on my own. We also say that it was a lot like a slingshot. Like I got held back a little bit because I had to watch and wait my turn. But by being held back and getting kind of a small cut of his overall commissions, I was then slingshot into a much more forward or fast forward space of having lots of repetitions. And there was like the first year I think we closed almost 70 transactions together. And so therefore I had a lot to look back on and say, I've done that, been there already in my first year. And, I could do a lot more on my own that second year.
Yeah. Yeah. What a great opportunity. I think I told you this. I had Jordan on the podcast
Yeah.
last year. And so I heard his story, and it's just incredible what he built and has built. What's the number one thing you learned from Jordan in that first year?
Oh, there's no number one. There are so many little nuances. There's things when I go, what would Jordan do? Oh yeah, I remember. Or here's something Jordan would say. And it's just kind of like thinking and honing him in when I'm in my own buyer's consult or my own listing consult and thinking, what would Jordan do? And I still lean on him from
Mm-hmm.
time to time. I still am a partner, a managing partner with his team. And so I see him on a regular basis, still kind of tap into, what I can get out of him. But I don't know if there's any number one thing. There's just so many little things that add up to just being the exceptional agent he is, and then being really, really blessed to have had the opportunity to learn from him so closely.
That's awesome. So tell me, like, I want to know, what are a couple of these things? Let us know some of the secrets.
Oh, I think it's everything from, we linked arms also about a year after I had started with Real Brokerage. And their
Mhm.
big motto is work hard and be kind. And I think that is something that Jordan got behind that he had already been doing, but it just made
Mhm.
so much more sense when we found a brokerage that actually spoke his language. And I think that's just it.
Mhm.
He is a very work hard, put your you know all your focus and not all of your focus and time, but just a great deal of taking the initiative, getting out there, earning it. Nothing is given, everything is earned. And be kind along the way, right? Like he comes
Mhm.
from a very servant leadership mindset that definitely plays out in the culture he's created with our team. And so by doing that, it's do the right thing. Like what's obviously ethical, but sometimes like I've made my mistakes. I have written on a contract for a post-closing occupancy, $75 total. And what I meant to write was $75 a day.
Oh
And
man.
I ended up having to help that client get their $75 a day out of my own pocket. And that was just like
Mm.
going, the best thing to do is do what's right by my client, even though that means it hurt my bank account for a little bit. And that's something
Mhm.
that Jordan definitely leads with is do the right thing. What at any cost, just do the right thing and take responsibility. He's really big at saying, when we mess up, we have our weaknesses. Let's, definitely build on our strengths, but then leverage our weaknesses. If we're not great at something, let's find someone we can partner with. So even to like go on that train of thought, after I stopped being Jordan's showing partner, I then employed my own showing partner. I felt like I needed someone to
Mm.
obviously be my yin to the yang and be able to balance the things that I'm not that great at.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's so key. So what is it that made you convinced that you should hire someone? Because I talk to agents all the time, and lenders too, for that matter, that are hesitant to hire someone to help them in their business. So what would you say to that?
I couldn't imagine doing it by myself once I did it with someone. It was like I always had another voice to bounce ideas off of, to problem solve, sometimes just to like normalize that what I was doing or thinking was all right. Like, okay, we're on the right path. All right, great. And yeah, I said it before, but I think leveraging my weakness, or even just as a mom, I've got two sons, 13 and 16. It was hard to be everywhere and be everyone to everybody. And when I had a
Mhm.
partner that was willing to go show the houses so I could go to the hockey games and the baseball games, then I was willing to then take that transaction or that client and write the contract in my spare time so that we could kind of divide and
Yeah.
conquer. And for the best, I saw that our clients got 2 for 1. Our clients got
Mhm.
2 heads, 4 eyes, all these hands on deck, and all these more like double the capacity to help them at any turn. So I just could not imagine doing it by myself when a team really felt like it filled the space for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have, is it just you and your showing partner now, or do you have a larger team?
It's just me and a showing partner. Yep.
Okay.
It just kind of takes the yin and the yang off of just doing enough
Hmm.
transactions to keep us both feeling like we can balance life and move forward. And I don't need to grow a big team. I don't like that's probably not in my near future. I think I'm probably capable, but I don't know if I I need to have all that busyness, when simplicity right now with kids in middle school and high school is just wanting to be present and around and strike a balance while I still want to have a life outside of work.
Right. Yeah. I mean, those years go by so fast. If you have kids, if people are listening, have kids. I have a senior and a junior in high school. So it's like, it's fleeting. So
yeah, you get it.
There's no one that ever looked back on their life or their kid's childhood and wishes they worked more instead of being at the soccer game. So I think that's very wise. Man, there's so many questions around having a team and building a team. How did you decide what your showing assistant would do and what you would do? Is there defined job descriptions, or is it more like you're both doing the same thing and you just kind of play off each other and help each other?
It's a great question. So it's definitely like, what do I not want to do? Right? Like, what does not fill me up? What does not fill my bucket? What does not give me energy? Like, can I find someone where that does give them energy? And the showing partner I had for the last 2+ years, it did give him energy to go show houses and walk through houses, and that excited him. And although it was exciting for me, I just didn't have the time and capacity when I had these kids, right? My boys come first. And so I think I was looking for someone who maybe didn't want to go chase or lead gen. I could do that. I have a big following. I've got a lot of clients coming my way. I just couldn't manage all of them and showing them 10 houses a weekend, but I did have someone that could. And so if he could get out there and kind of be boots on the ground, I could kind of stay in the wings and wait for the ball to be passed back to me. And so our job descriptions were just that. Like, he was more the opening the door, showing the house, giving a really good walkthrough, and he has become exceptional at showing properties and really pointing out the highs, the lows, the issues, most clients walk through and they're like, oh, we love it. And you have to have someone point out, like, did you notice that crack? Here's my concern. Here's something that might come up. And then he would pass the ball to me and say, our clients are really interested in this particular property. I'd get on the phone with them. We would talk about how to craft a contract. I would write it up. I would negotiate on their behalf. When we were under contract, of course, we would all celebrate as a team. It's a team effort. And then I might pass it back to my showing partner to go, when you walk through the inspection, let me know what's coming up. Then I will then take it, write up the inspection objection with the client. I'll negotiate those inspection objection issues, et cetera. We kind of just bounced the ball back and forth until we got to the end. But we definitely owned like kind of the whole project, the problems, the benefits, the highs, the lows together as a team. And our clients felt that they were surrounded by a team. It was like, there wasn't just a doctor in the room. It was like all the medical staff were there to say, here, we're here to take care of you. And we all have different specialties, but you can ask any one of us anything and we'll still answer or find the answer for you.
Yeah, it's kind of like if the surgeon were to come in and do your IV and give you the overnight, pills that you need to take, that'd be kind of weird. That's why they have a nurse that does that.
Yeah.
Because everyone has their role and you guys all work together.
Yeah. And I think like, for the partner that I had for the last 2+ years, he was male, I was female. He was married, but, has like the cats and dogs, and I have the kids. And so we both appealed to different buyers and sellers, right? Sure. Like if they connected with a female versus a male or, the working mom, et cetera. And Julio is an exceptional musician, so he would really connect with some of our clients who had music, interests and whatnot. Yeah. And ironically, Julio, although his name kind of might provoke some people thinking he speaks Spanish, I actually speak Spanish, and so I would speak Spanish to some of our clients, and so I feel like we really complemented each other.
Cool. Well, I want to ask you about the Spanish thing, but one more question about, I hesitate to use the word assistants, but partners in your business. I remember back when I hired my first we call them loan partners on my end, to help me with some of the stuff because I just couldn't handle it all the business coming in. And one of my biggest fears was that they would decide they wanted to become a loan officer themselves and leave me. Do you have that kind of fear? And what would happen if Julio decided to go his own way?
Well, Julio He has. And
Okay.
in this last month, he has started to transition to be his own independent agent. And I have said
Interesting.
from the get-go, give me a month or two heads, lead time, because I will absolutely miss him and our partnership and how we've formulated something, but nothing lasts forever. And I'm not naive, and I cheer him on. I'm excited for him. I think he is completely capable, and I will be there right behind him saying, you've got this, So
Mhm.
I know that there are other people that can still fit that partnership role in regards to
Mhm.
someone else that's out there. Right now I'm starting to work with another partner, and she
Okay.
is very new. And so she's very eager to learn from all the experience I have. And so she's got a different set of what she's coming to get like benefit from. And at the
Mhm.
same time, I know that she's eager. Like, what I need is someone who's eager and will take some initiative and is excited to get in there and has the
Yeah.
capacity, because she's just starting this job. So she doesn't have a lot of busy clients. She's like, Rachel, who do you have, and who can I go show a house to, and who can I help you with? And so there's a really
Yeah.
good different dynamic, but it's going to kind of set us up on another path of being a good team again.
Awesome. So what else have you done with your business specifically after you went off on your own from being Jordan's showing assistant? What else have you done to help to cultivate that business and become so successful?
I think the two things that I see my career where it's at today from the beginning has been just sharing on social media what I'm doing from a very like realistic place.
Mm.
I am not always vomiting that I sold another house, but I'm also telling people how exhausted I am, or how I have to write a contract while I was watching a hockey
Mhm.
game, like it's life. It's definitely life. And I feel like um some of the best referrals I get are from people who are watching me on social media that don't need to buy or sell a house, but they tell their friends about me. And so I end up working
Mm.
with a friend of a friend. Right. And because I've had a lot of repetition, I've got a lot of fun stories to tell. Stories about like a house out in Todd's Creek that I helped with get everything from moving their existing boxes and just life that's accumulated over 10 years out to their garage. So our contractors could come in, they redid the floors, the walls, the ceilings. They made this place look brand new again. And then we moved just enough furniture back in to stage it. We had a professional
Mm.
staging consultant come by, make sure it was shiny and beautiful. We cleaned up the pool in the backyard. It was sparkling all summer. And meanwhile, we had also helped these sellers move to an Airbnb for 10 days. So they weren't in the middle of all this.
Oh.
And then they moved back in, they showcased the house, we had it under contract, and they're on their way to Texas. And it's fun to share those stories on social media about all the little pieces. Like I went over there one day
Mhm.
to give donuts and coffee to the contractors to see how things were going. Like it's a constant being a part of an experience that I have to share on social media to say I don't just wake up one day and buy a house or sell a house. Like there's a lot involved. And
Sure.
so I think by sharing that with the people that are willing to listen or watch me do what I do, it's kind of fun. And it's definitely shown that people are sending people to me because they know me, like me. I guess they trust me, and here I am.
Yeah. Well, obviously they do. So how often do you post on social media?
Well, it's funny you ask. I would say the consistent Rachel posts multiple times a day on stories. But I
Okay.
say that now, and it's almost September, and I'll tell you that this summer it's been quiet. It has been super quiet because I have had too many listings. I actually have 12
Mm.
listings that have just consumed so much of my time. I haven't had time to post on social media about what's going on. Now, when things kind of get to that manageable level again, when the summer season slows down a little bit, I might be able to
Mhm.
go back and fill in all the stories about what I've experienced. But I would say in general, I try and keep my stories or my reels or my carousels going
Mhm.
every 24 hours, right? You got to have a couple posts, and they're speckled between everything from professional to personal and what's going on with my life. My dog tends to be a part of it. I didn't think I'd ever be like such a dog
Love that.
mom, but he's always on my feet. So he always ends up in a picture. But yes, and then a pretty powerful post every once in a while about just the reality of what's going on, a little
Mm.
longer, a permanent post that people can find later. has just
Yep.
helped people know what I'm up to. So when I run into them at the grocery store, they're like, "Oh, looks like you're having a great time in real estate." Like I don't even have to answer questions; they already know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a indirect way of letting people know what you do.
Yeah, yeah, and about my kids and everything else in my life. So
Sure. Yeah,
yep.
that's cool. So do you have just a personal page, or do you have a business one, or do you have both?
I basically do all personal Facebook and
Okay.
personal Instagram. Those are my two main platforms, and sometimes they syndicate to one another. I do have a professional Facebook page that I just usually, if anything, would post more of that professional stuff that people don't always want to be bogged down by. They don't want to be
Sure.
invited to another professional page, but it's there if I want to boost a post or advertise something, that I
Mhm.
am doing that I think is pretty spectacular or I want people to learn about. So I kind of dabble
Okay.
in it all.
Okay. Something that you're really spectacular with too is keeping up with your past clients and staying in touch with the people that you've already helped that then leads to more business. Do you have a process that you, or like a certain set of things that you do to stay in touch with your past clients?
I think the first thing that comes to, I have two big things, but the first thing that comes to mind is that the second we connect, the second that we are at, a showing or a buyer's consultation or listing consultation, when I walk out that door, I'm putting them on a group chat. And that's with my partner and myself and however
Mhm.
many decision makers there are. And so I feel like that group text is so critical because I label them. So I know that it's, the Smiths real estate group, and I can always go
Mhm.
back in and drip in there. And sometimes it's just when I'm driving in their neighborhood a year, 6 months later, I'm like, just drove by your house. How is it going? Or, I hear something that
Mhm.
happened in Lafayette, and I think of all my clients in Lafayette, or, and I send them text messages. It's like, I can't help but have them on the top of my mind because I spent a really
Sure.
intense period of time with them, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's like the coming of a baby or a marriage or, even sad news. Sometimes I hear about sad things and I reach out to them
Mhm.
um and yeah, I follow them on social media and they follow me. So they're already aware of my dog sleeping on my feet when I'm working, or they're aware of my kid, winning at a hockey game or something. And so it's fun just staying connected lifelong with them. And I will say that
Mhm.
the Jordan Terrell Group, which is rebranding itself as community, does an exceptional job of hosting events 3 times a year. They're not quite quarterly, but they're about 3 times
Okay.
a year, of which we try and get all of our clients back together and just say thank you. We want to touch base. We want to hear how you're doing. We want to hear about your life in your new community or your new house. Just this past
Yeah.
weekend, there was an event at the Rockies game. And so we
Oh,
bought
cool.
tickets for all of our clients to come. We were able to have a private area up in the Shane Co Cabana area up on
Mhm.
a viewing deck and bring everybody in for drinks and food and just say, let's get together every once in a while. And sometimes even if they don't show up, I just still have a reason to call and say, you're invited. We'd love to see you. And
Sure.
if they can't, they usually tell me they're going camping. And then we're on this whole tangent talking about camping and where they're going camping, like it's
Yeah.
just being real and being a friend and because you do like these people, you spend so much time with
Oh,
them.
sure. Yeah.
So the events are fun too. We did like a zoo lights. We're going to do that again this November where
Okay.
we're going to rent out the entire zoo. We get
Cool.
400 to 500 past clients coming to the zoo and getting to touch base with them and their families and just see how things are going. Yeah.
Nice. What other events do you guys do?
Oh man, so we've done the Rockies. We did an opening day event. It was, of course, baseball's opening day, but we didn't even go into Coors Stadium back in April. It was just kind of like a parking lot party with a band and drinks. That was back in April. We have done things. Goodness, can't remember where it was. It was McGregor Square, so right outside.
Mhm.
There's always this Rockies theme. I don't know why, but we were on one of the upper floors. We hosted a dueling piano,
Oh,
comedy music act.
okay.
That was a lot of fun. It was more dressed up, so it was kind of like this holiday-ish December time event that
Mhm.
had food and drinks and again just ways to connect with our clients and see how they're doing and catch up and then have an event that's fun for people to come to and get out of the house and do
Yeah,
something different.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dueling pianos is definitely something different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And about a year or two ago, we also did something at a water park. So it was a family friendly
Oh,
event where we had food trucks and then we rented out the whole water park. So, kids were splashing around, running around. And adults were just standing by the pool chatting. It was great. Yeah.
It kind of, to a certain extent, doesn't matter what the event is.
Mm-hmm.
It's about that community, and then having a reason to call people and invite them. Because, calling your past clients is such a great strategy in and of itself. And to have not that you don't want to genuinely check in with your clients, but to have kind of a reason to call is, for me at least, helps.
Absolutely.
When I'm calling my past clients. So
yeah. And it creates FOMO. I might post something on my social media about this awesome client event, and someone who's not my client, it's like, I want to go. And I'm like, sweet, when can I buy or sell a house with you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I love that. So tell me more about the rebranding of community. Because I heard about it. I know folks over there with the Jordan Terrell group, and of course, Jordan. Tell us more about this rebranding.
Well, Jordan himself has created quite a following. He has attracted a number of agents. I think we're around 30 plus agents with our group. And it doesn't always, I can't speak for him, but the feeling is that it doesn't really feel like Jordan's group. It feels like all of ours, right? And so he's really tried to say, we're all partners in this. We're all, splitting the weight of training one another, but then, with our commissions, we're putting back into these events that we're doing. And we have admin, and we've got a transaction coordination team. We've got listing coordinators, and we've got marketing. Like, we have all these things that have really created this community. And I think the biggest thing Jordan found in the beginning, it might not be the biggest, again, I can't say for him, but something that came out of what he didn't even realize was going to happen when he became his own solo agent is that he attracted people that were like him with the same type of culture vibe. And, like I said, Real Brokers' motto is work hard and be kind. Well, the Jordan Terrell group, now rebranding as community, creates its own big 5 values around, like, what does it really mean to work hard and be kind? And I know you're about to ask me, so I should probably look up what those 5 values are, because they're pretty cool. And you would think that I'd have them memorized because we talk about them all the time. But, one of them is we, not me, right? It's really not about the individual. It's about who you're playing for the person next to you. Another one is dream it, do it, right? It's not just like things are going to get handed to you, but if you have an idea, like, let's go with it. And that's how I think we've created some really innovative ideas with our team. One of them is embrace the how. So definitely learn the process and the systems, because I always say, like, the more competent you get, the more confident you get in real estate. And then the more confident, then the more competent. It's like this nice, beautiful dance. Again, I knew I was going to get stumped because now I got to think of the other 2. But so we have 5 core values that really feel like they shape who wants to be a part of our group and ultimately creates this community. So I feel like community is, you can use it in so many ways, not only inside the team, but then the community we're trying to build with these events, right? These client events are bringing people together. One of our client events actually had seating because it was like a buffet, but then you sat down at tables, and we strategically sat people that didn't know each other, but we knew that they were living in the same neighborhood, or we knew that we helped them buy or sell a house in the same city or town. And so then they were actually bumping elbows with people. Oh, no way, you live by that park, and oh my gosh, we go to the same rec center. And then they were literally meeting people, right? And so I think community can be used in so many ways, not just externally outside of our team, but then internally inside our team, how we build community.
That's really smart.
It's cool.
Well, what do you see in your future? What kind of goals do you have in the next, let's say, 12 to 24 months?
That's a great question. I'm really enjoying helping new agents. Like, that whole competent confidence thing is huge, because I remember asking a million questions that first year, right? Like, to the point of, like, ad nauseum. I'm sure Jordan's like, why do you keep asking me questions? I'm like, I just want to learn. I just want to be so competent that I have the answers. And fast forward 4 years, and there are people who are very green starting in our group that have never been an agent. They just passed their test. And there's some agents that have done it for a long time, but we can, like, compare notes and be like, ooh, you do it a little different, or how did you learn? And this is how we do it. And so I guess to answer your question, I see myself still working with a team.
Mhm.
Not necessarily for, I mean, partly because I like the helping me, because I don't want to go to every showing because I'd like to go see my kids play hockey or baseball. But at the same
Mhm.
time, I like to help them. Like, it's fun to teach, it's fun to coach, it's fun to educate, it's fun to mentor. And so I can see myself continuing to go down that path with mentoring agents that join our group.
That's awesome. That's really, that kind of thing is so rewarding too. And then to see them thrive and succeed, that's a really cool vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, let's say you were starting in the business right now, what's the first thing that you would do?
I would link arms with someone that knows what they're doing. I think that your license, your test, prepares you for such a small drop in the bucket of every
Mm-hmm.
little nuance that they can never prepare you for. But that you'll have to learn how to navigate, right? The contract that's about to terminate, and the inspection you don't know how to get through, and the offer you're not quite clear how to write. Like, you kind of need someone to help guide you and mentor you, and not necessarily tell you how to do it, but to coach you and help you learn so that you feel that competence, like, okay, I'm getting this.
Mm-hmm.
And with that comes with the confidence, right? There's certainly people that show up, they think they know it all, and they fall flat on their face. And so there's definitely a need to align yourself with people that can help. And I am just really blessed that, Jordan was like, hey, come join me. And I was like, sweet, I don't know any different. And I can't say I do know any different. I've never been on a different team or with a different brokerage. But I would say that if I were to do it all over again, I'd do it the exact same way. I don't know if I'd change anything. I don't know if I would think I could go any faster. I would go
Mm-hmm.
sit right back down in Jordan's pocket and go, okay, tell me how, show me how. Like, I'm willing to learn and just soak it all in as best I can, knowing that it was very humbling in the beginning to, not make millions of dollars. Not that I do, but like, there's kind of some stigma or some stereotypes of agents or just real estate in general that you're going to make all this money. And money was not my motivator. It was, I really wanted to add value to people's lives, and I wanted to be a value, of which, like, my biggest love language is if someone just says thank you. I'm like, oh, I'll do it 10 times now. Like, if you just say thank you, I love it, because I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
must have done something right. And in social work, in the school system, you didn't always get thanked, and you didn't always feel valued, because it was kind of the one job on the chopping block most often. And so I like this career in that I can add value and feel valuable.
That's awesome. So for someone maybe starting off in the business or just getting their license right now that might be listening to this, how should they go about vetting someone to latch on to learn the business, like a team or an individual that is looking for someone?
On our team, we have about 7 managing partners. And we joke that if someone joins our team, they're welcome to, like, pair up with one of us so we can lead them and guide them and coach them. And we joke that we have profiles where you could, like, swipe left or swipe right. And we don't really have that, but it feels like vetting, the 7 of us. I think it comes down to people you connect with, right? If I were new in the business, like, who do I feel like I can relate to? Who's maybe my avatar of who I want to be? Like, oh, do I want to be like that agent or that agent? Because we all kind of start to fall into a different niche or niche. And I think, like, our learning styles are really important. Like, one of the first thing I ask my mentees is, how do you learn best? Are you visual? Are you auditory? Are you kinesthetic? Do you want me to hold you accountable, or do you just want to, like, are you someone who needs to process out loud? Do you need me to challenge you with some questions? And then we also do, like, key performance indicators. So, like, what are some of the key performance indicators we already know are going to get you to where you want to go? So let's zone in on those things. So very goal oriented. So I think, if I were new, I would vet someone based on if I connect with them and if they can respond to my learning style, and then hold me accountable so that I'm not just fluttering around out there. We're all independent contractors. And so we have the risk of just kind of going off and deciding I want to scroll on social media all day and not lift a finger. And so having someone that, can be your teammate and has your back, is looking out for you.
So basically just call you guys.
Or that. Yeah, you can definitely.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Anything else that you'd like to share as far as some of your wisdom in the business? I mean, you've been so successful so fast.
Oh man. Well, thank you. Some days you feel like, I remember the first contract I closed, I was like, that was so easy. Oh man, I totally have this, right? And then
Right.
like 2 or 3 contracts later when like everything blew up and fell apart and you're like, oh man, I know nothing. And so here I am 4 years later going, I feel like I know a lot. I feel like there's not a problem I haven't like been able to handle. And then I say that and I'm sure tomorrow something will happen. So I don't know if I'd use the word wise. That's where I was getting at because you said some wisdom. I don't know if I have any great like lasting message to anybody listening. I just say link with the right team, with the right culture. It feels like a good fit, and you'll probably find your space. You find your place. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on today with us. I mean, to hear your story and your knowledge is so valuable for people, and I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, RJ. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for tuning in for today's episode. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with your friends in the industry. That's how the word gets out about real estate agent superstars. And be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite platform. Once again, my name is RJ Baxter. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I wish you continued success. Have a great day.